In response to the uncertainties presented by COVID-19, many companies have asked their employees to work remotely, without warning, and in many cases without preparation of any kind. Managers have been thrust into the position of leading virtual teams, mostly for the first time. This course will lay down various benefits of remote work to employees as well as to employers. And on the other hand, addressing the struggles of managers managing remote employees. It's challenging enough to manage yourself in quarantine without face to face human interaction. Now, add to that the task of managing a team under those conditions, especially when you've never done it before. So, we will unravel tips on how you can effectively manage your remote teams. We will also discuss ways to motivate your remote employees, and we will learn fun activities for team engagement. The best of the best benefits of working from home contributes to remote work's impact on employers and employees. Let's discuss its contribution for employees. Personally, remote work also grants us the benefits to our personal life. And I must admit that I am one of those who enjoys the benefits of working from home. The first benefit is less commute stress. This is so relatable because commute for me is really stressful. My commute every day ranges from 5 to 6 hours a day, and the MRT feud is no joke. Luckily, I'm just tiny and I just can easily fill in myself to small spaces, but also unfortunately, I am always being squeezed. Wasting time commuting is just one of the downsides of getting to and from work. More than 30 minutes of daily one-way commuting is associated with increased levels of stress and anxiety. And research shows that commuting 10 miles to work each day is associated with health issues like high cholesterol, elevated blood sugar, and increased risk of depression. Ditching the commute helps you support your mental and physical health. The time savings can allow you to focus on priorities outside of work, like getting extra sleep in the morning, spending more time with family, getting in a workout, or eating a healthy breakfast. Second benefit, money savings. Yes, I also agree. Without my transportation fees and spending on food, I save 5,000 pesos in a month. Gas, car maintenance, transportation, parking fees, a professional wardrobe, lunches bought out, and more can all be reduced or eliminated from your spending entirely. These savings add up and put more money back in your pocket. And the savings aren't just for employees either. As more and more companies allow employees to continue working from home post pandemic, they'll also see significant long term cost savings in overhead cost, real estate cost, transit subsidies, and continuity of operations. Lastly, family and personal life improvement. This is something I'm really grateful for because I get to bond and hang out with my family. Normally, because of my travel hours, there isn't really a spare time for me to spend with them. Because I always go home late, so whenever I get home, they're already asleep or prepping to go to bed. It helps improve my well being entirely. Now, let's discuss the benefits of remote work to employers. According to researchers, workplace flexibility will boost your bottom line in these five categories: productivity, performance, engagement, retention, and profitability. Productivity. Teleworkers are on average of 35 to 40% more productive than their office counterparts and have measured an output increase of at least 4.4%. But of course, due to the pandemic, we expect a drop in sales and we can blame our people for it. Performance. With stronger autonomy via location independence, workers produce results with 40% fewer quality defects. Engagement. Higher productivity and performance combine to create stronger engagement, or in other words, 41% lower absenteeism. Retention. 54% of employees say they would change jobs for one that offered them more flexibility, which results in an average of 12% turnover reduction after remote work agreement is offered. And lastly, profitability. Organizations got an estimated average of 21% higher profitability rate because of the cost reductions. To start, managers need to understand factors that can make remote work especially demanding. Otherwise, high performing employees may experience declines in job performance and engagement when they begin working remotely, especially in the absence of preparation and training. Challenges inherent in remote work include lack of face to face supervision. Imagine trying to make an important decision with only 7% of the information. Yet, we do that every day with chat and email with your remote team members. When you don't have enough face to face communication, it can become difficult to sense intent in messages between you and your employee. It's harder to understand a message when it's only text or you don't know them as well as other in-office employees. Both managers and their employees often express concerns about the lack of face-to-face supervision or interaction. Supervisors worry that employees will not work as hard or as efficiently. Many employees, however, struggle with reduced access to managerial support and communication. Lack of access to information. Newly remote workers are often surprised by the added time and effort needed to locate information from coworkers. Even getting answers to what seem like simple questions can feel like a large obstacle to a worker based at home. Social isolation. Loneliness is one of the most common complaints about remote work, with employees missing the informal social interaction of an office setting. Over a longer period of time, isolation can cause any employee to feel less belong to their organization and can even result in increased intention to leave the company. Distractions at home. We often see photos representing remote work which portray a parent holding a child and typing on a laptop, often sitting on a sofa or living room floor. In fact, this is a terrible representation of effective virtual work. After knowing the bottlenecks of managing remote teams, let's now find out how we can support our remote team members through this video.
To increase the effectiveness and productivity of virtual teams, you need to show your support by making regular connections with all of your team members. Because they are geographically dispersed, you don't have the same level of control over remote teams as you do over on-site team members. You also can't give your remote team members the same type of attention and supervision that you can with co-located teams. But you have to find time to support them. There are a number of strategies you can use to support and encourage the members of your virtual team. The first is to connect and stay connected to all your virtual team members. Talk regularly with all team members via phone or video conferencing. Make it a priority to touch base with them several times per week and not just rely on emails or texts. When you talk to your team members, ask for their input and feedback and encourage them to open up. This makes sure that they stay engaged, helping to keep team morale high, and gives you fresh perspectives on what's working and what isn't. It also lets you keep them in the loop about what's happening in the office. It strengthens the connection they have with the broader organization. Connect the team as a whole by meeting together regularly to strengthen relationships among team members. Bonding with each other builds trust and camaraderie. Another strategy is to encourage their input and contribution. Remember, engaged employees are productive employees. To engage your team, arrange meetings where everyone can share ideas and information, and that includes you. It's not always easy to get people to talk. Encourage sharing by asking open-ended questions that can't be answered with a simple yes or no. It's a sure way to coax input and let people expand on ideas. And once you've got them talking, let them do so without needless interruption. Then confirm what they've said and the suggestions they've made. This shows your support and understanding. Another tip for encouraging participation is to recognize and thank team members for contributing during meetings. And if someone isn't contributing during a meeting, get them involved by calling on them by name and directly ask their opinion or input on an issue. Rewarding and reinforcing accomplishments when appropriate is a great way to support and motivate your team members. Motivation matters. When you notice that your team's morale is low or they seem stuck in a rut, think of ways to motivate them. If at all possible, find a way to get them together in person from time to time. A team dinner, for example, can do wonders for motivation and alignment, and it's worth making the investment. Team rewards, too, can be a very effective motivation. And if particular employees stand out, reward them for their good work. Managers need to make sure that they proactively provide validation and encouragement to remote team members. But remember to match rewards to each individual. Don't reward everyone the same way. These strategies support and encourage remote team members, allowing them to feel a part of and committed to both the team and the organization.
To help managers who are new to this or even experienced managers who need additional guidance in these trying times, here are the best recommendations for supporting continued learning and the emotional well-being of your employees. Most teams are socialized and accustomed to synchronous work and standardization. They work together, located in the same office, under the same working conditions, with the same work schedule. In a quarantined environment, managers must help their teams shift immediately to asynchronous work and personalization. You'll need to reset expectations for how work gets done, letting go of when and how tasks are accomplished, allowing team members to accomplish their responsibilities on their own terms. This means focusing on results and offering more flexibility. Researchers prove that shorter communication cycle times are more effective in building and sustaining morale and engagement. Use instant messaging to stay in regular touch. Don't let an employee go half a day without checking in. You might want to hold a huddle each day, ideally by video. If you are familiar with Simon Sinek, huddle is something they use weekly. To know more about this, click the How to Huddle file I attach in this email. One of the most essential steps a manager can take is to structure ways for employees to interact socially. Have informal conversations about non-work topics while working remotely. This is true for all remote workers, but particularly so for workers who have been abruptly transitioned out of the office. The easiest way to establish some basic social interaction is to leave some time at the beginning of team calls just for non-work items. Here are some great remote-specific one-on-one questions to ask. Great remote-specific questions. What's your favorite part about working remote? Understand what drives them. What's your daily routine like for working? How could I better support remote staff like you? How is your morning routine going now that you don't have to go into work? What is your workspace setup so you can focus and get things done during the day? Do you need anything to help? Research shows more than half of human communication is nonverbal. When you don't get to see someone in the office every day, having any type of visual clue to what someone is thinking is essential. With so many free and inexpensive solutions for video chat like Skype, Google Hangouts, and Zoom, there's no reason not to switch to video whenever you can. Uncertainty fuels anxiety. The more you communicate and share, the less chance there is to develop an information vacuum within your team. Communicate regularly even if you don't have new information to share. Maintaining transparency through a crisis with frequent updates is the ultimate expression of good faith, empathy, and genuine concern for your team. Offer encouragement and emotional support. Especially in the context of an abrupt shift to remote work, it is important for managers to acknowledge stress, listen to employees' anxieties and concerns, and empathize with their struggles. Take time to monitor their engagement by periodically asking each team member two quick questions. First, on a 0 to 10 scale, rate the level of stress you currently feel. Second, using that same scale, reach your level of overall engagement.
Hey everyone, had a thought about things that are going on in these strange times. Many people are now telecommuting, teleworking, which is for some uncharted territory. I've heard stories from folks that their managers have become micromanagers, checking in on them, sending multiple emails. Why haven't you responded to me yet? The other way around, for managers saying, people aren't getting back to me. This is not a vacation. Well, this is the perfect time to practice empathy. If we're trying to get hold of someone and someone's not readily available, instead of sending more and more and more emails saying, where are you? Pick up the phone and ask, how are you? I haven't heard back from you. Are you okay? I'm worried about you. Remember, we're trying to find our new cadence. Also, people are stressed out and these are paranoid times. And also, we don't know what's going on in people's families. So the best thing we can do is actually care about each other. Call up and check in on someone. And it goes both ways. If we have somebody who is micromanaging us, let us not assume they don't trust us, but rather maybe they're stressed out as well. We can also pick up the phone and say, hey boss, just want to make sure you're okay. Empathy is a great thing to practice now. And it also makes us feel closer to each other when we feel that someone's actually looking out for us as human beings. Take care of yourself, take care of each other.
Tips for motivating remote workers.
Use of GIFs. If someone did great work or there's a good team win, find a GIF at a site like jiffy.com and send it with the message praising them. You are reinforcing good behavior, right? Watch how much better a reaction you get than when you just email. You can get a similar effect if you want to diffuse an email by putting an emoticon at the end to show you're not too serious. Optimism is contagious. Leaders who demonstrate hopefulness and confidence in the future are better able to help their team members find meaning and purpose in work, especially under stressful conditions. And don't forget to use humor as a relief valve. Remember that fear freezes initiative, ties up creativity, and yields compliance instead of commitment. Finally, consider that constraints are often the enabling factor that sparks innovation. Invite your team to use the quarantine conditions as a stimulus for new ideas. Learning doesn't have to stop in this new environment, but it may be more practical to use microlearning. Focus on sharing short lessons on a single topic in a 5 to 10 minute segment. This might cover a specific tool, behavior, or skill. Rotate the delivery of these lessons among team members and allow them to identify their own topic for training. You might ask a different team member to debrief the lesson and lead a short discussion about the application, relevance, and implications of what everyone learned.